Welcome, one and all. I bring you to once more. Man, you can really already tell the weed's taking effect here. Alright, welcome once more to Monster Monday, Session 7. We've actually made it. First little note before we get into what happened last time. For those who are watching, we will not be having any sessions the next 2 weeks. Potentially that Monday, we may, depending on, but it looks like at least 1 week of sessions will be out, so for those who watch this stuff in the background, just kind of keep that in mind for the delay. Otherwise, back to the actual D&D information. Last time, we left off. Our party of monsters, still yet unknown to the world, enjoyed a laid-back beach episode with only a bit of killing and vomit involved. This time, thankfully, not Tuntun's vomit. After deciding to take an easy job of clearing out a few murlocs, the party managed to, with ease, defeat and destroy the village of creatures, though their secondary mission would fall flat as the gnolls they had been hunting would be swallowed up by the sea, or rather a giant kraken-like creature in the sea. Realizing it wasn't worth collecting the bodies, the group decided to return to the Hive City as they awaited their next orders. Pretty short, easy, and simple, and to the point summary. We come back to you lot, having spent the last, the morning of, traveling back to the village, or town, back to the hive. As you lot find yourselves walking towards the mouth of the cave, seeing it coming up in front of you as you all expectingly are getting ready to head down it. Just as you do, all of you give me a will save.
Starting the rolls off great. I got a 6.
Ooh, nice.
I got a 9.
I know.
Ooh, Melvin, getting there tonight. Gygax at 20. Tuntun.
1 second. Things are slow to load in.
That's understandable.
Don't mind me with my millions of tabs for my school being opened.
Ah, how dare you do schoolwork while we're having session.
It's not me doing schoolwork, it's just me having tabs that I don't
Melvin
want
is just too distracted by his morning ration sandwich.
15 for the will save.
As Melvin devouring his sandwich, Doots staring at the sandwich with love, and want for a moment. Gygax and Tuntun, you watch for only a few seconds as Doots and Melvin seem to, like, slowly, I imagine Doots riding on top of Tuntun's back, Gygax following close behind, watching Melvin like a hawk after the recent fight of going down twice. You both watch as Doots and Melvin slowly drift away to sleep as their eyes close. Melvin kind of coming to a slower, closer to the ground, not hitting the ground, but lightly hovering over it. Doots fully passing out on the back of Tuntun. As a few moments go by, as you take a second to process this, Tuntun, you fall asleep next, just as quickly as you notice, falling yourself deep into a patch of mud as your body just kind of collapses under its own weight. Gygax, as the last one awake, for a mere moment, you see a strange-looking dwarven figure with a white beard, dark skin, and a golden coin in his hand. That's all you really get before you fall asleep completely. Yes, please do, Melvin. Well, Melvin rolls for that.
Roll?
You know what? Let me see. Do I actually have a table? Is there a table for this? Let me find out real quick. For those wondering at home, this is for our Beholder Dream effects. I hadn't come up with a table for this yet, but I can definitely come up with something. Let's see. Give me a minute. Oh, let's do a D100.
87.
Okay. Alright. As you, begin, to dream, Melvin, you watch as the dream around you begins to show people on a large battlefield, you at the forefront, gold, dripping in gold, cloaks, magic items of all sorts. As you look on, an army of humanoids at your back, other humanoids in front of you, scurrying away in fear at the sight of you as you wave a magic or a mage hand carrying a staff. Your army shouting at the mere movement of this staff and your thought. You watch on as people scream in terror, shouting your name in fear. As you dream this, we'll come back to you in a moment. Tun, you begin dreaming of a large basket of pastries, each of different flavors you've never seen or smelled or tasted before. A large version that looks almost like yourself, but much larger, seeming to be working at like what looks to be an easy make oven, as they seem to pull out more and more pastries the size of a small hill, setting them down in front of you as you sit there watching. The smell kind of starting to cause you to drool. As you dive in, you begin seeing enjoying the flavors, the sweetness of the mini pastries, and start to see the glories of your future and your grand size, Tun. Your shell striking the attention of cities as they bring out tribute to you. Items and desserts you've never yet seen or tasted before in the hordes of thousands. As this dream continues on, just like Melvin will come back to you. Gygax, you begin to dream and watch as hordes of spiders come towards you. As they do so, though, you see the large basket full of nothing but the slingshot ammo that you had personally crafted and had designed. A brand new sling fully set out on the side ready for you. And you watch as the horde comes towards you. As you begin to start swinging these slings flying out, watching thousands of spiders in a single shot go explode out in goop, bits of intestine and parts of their carapace flying everywhere as they do so. You begin to feel yourself smiling, enjoying the feeling of the terror and destruction you bring onto these poor creatures. Dudes, you don't see anything pleasant. You see the dwarven figure with his golden coin offering you a deal to serve as a guide in exchange for yours and your party's immunity to death during this trip. As you agree, you can't help but feel a pang at the back of your head for just a mere moment as you do so. Melvin, in the middle of your dream, you begin to see as Dutz makes a deal with this dwarven figure. Though you can't seem to understand what the two are saying, you seem to feel yourself projecting this to somewhere else. As the deal is made and you lot each start to waken from your slumber for a mere moment, you find yourself surrounded by glittering, shining lights, flowers that smell of bright and fluffy perfume, sweet scents all throughout the air. The wind itself, just a nice cooling warmth, just enough to keep you feeling at the perfect comfort level. The sounds of a babbling brook in the distance. It is by all means peaceful and strange to all but Dutz. As you see also, as you lot look about, a strange golden coin that seems to kind of float right above your heads, each of you, as you kind of awaken to see each other in this grassy field.
I try to jump up and grab the coin above my head.
As you jump up, the coin seems to jump out, almost go with you, keeping at the exact same height.
How far above my head is it?
It is exactly 10 feet.
I shoot a pseudopod at it.
Alright, make an attack. Let's see what Gygax has got. Apparently, the traffic agrees with Gygax. Alright. With 17, you watch as your pseudopod hits it, and as you begin, or as it seems to stick, you start to feel the pseudopod beginning to burn as smoke starts to sizzle up. Give me
Does it have the tingling effect of magic?
It does.
I let go immediately.
As you do, you see there's a little burn mark on the tip of the pseudopod where it touched the coin that has completely melted away and slightly has a bit of gold now on it.
I will, in Dutz' head, just be like, is there anything we should know about?
Yeah. We got a job. We gotta do an escort. Wasn't told exactly who we're escorting. Just we gotta escort someone through the Feywild to the Queen.
Through the Feywild? Do I know what that is?
Go ahead and give me a knowledge arcana.
I do have that. 25.
Yeah, with a 25. You've heard stories of a realm called the Feywilds in many of books. It's noted for having creatures that are well known for luring people from the mortal plane into it so they can eat them. They seem to be very well known for devouring literally any kind of creature that comes into these areas, whether it be sucking out their life essence and leaving nothing but a husk behind where they plop back out into the mortal plane, or leaving nothing but bones, or even in some cases nothing at all behind, as the creatures do. Most adventurers and researchers who have managed to come to the Feywilds have noted to have lost at least an arm or a leg before returning.
Well, everybody would be able to see the very horrified look on Melvin's face very quickly.
I will add to that is believed, it is a popular belief that the entire Feywilds eats, everything eats mortals. Like grass, dirt, the air itself, some even believe.
I don't think that's a place we should be going, dudes.
You are free to hang around the portal on Tuntun's back if you wish. But the deal is that I have to guide them there.
Give me, everyone give me a spot check, by the way, while you're standing here, see if anybody noticed anything.
Tuntun has got a 10.
Don't worry, Tuntun, you did notice something. It's okay.
Fuck yeah.
Gygax with a 16.
I'm trying to see. I think I have a little more modifier than that. So plus 5.
Let's see what you got.
14.
14. All right, and Dutz.
Got a 9.
All right, Tuntun and Dutz, as you are kind of, Dutz, as you're having this conversation in your head with Melvin, kind of distracted as the rest aren't really noticing you. You kind of everyone kind of watching Gygax stick his pseudopod up to the golden coin and then pull it back. Dutz and Tuntun, you can't help but notice in the distance something that catches your eye that's quite large. And Gygax and Melvin, you also catch this: a large wooden warship floating in the sky with strange creatures painted on the side of it, showing their bare skin. Seems to be flying through, chasing what you can only describe as a pixie that would be gargantuan. For Melvin and Gygax, you hear on the wind from over there something about "give me your beard oil."
I really can't tell you guys why, but seeing that ship gives me deja vu for some reason.
However,
Melvin. You said there was a pixie on the ship?
No, it's looks like it's chasing a gargantuan pixie. I will mention Gygax and Melvin, as you happen to notice this. You also notice the very large. Well, would you like to introduce yourself, Volgera, as you stand over this poor group of creatures?
I have an image for this, of course. You see an 18-foot tall stone golem with a giant. He's supposed to have a sword. This was the closest I could get. Just standing behind you, just staring at dudes. Covered in, like, chiseled, I guess, tattoos, but, you know, they're just kind of chiseled into his stone body.
As Melvin and Gygax happen to notice this.
Try to go hide inside of Tuntun's shell.
Alright,
Ship is chasing the pixie and yelling something about beard oil. And who's that behind us?
That's normal.
As this giant of stone kind of towers over you, looking down at you lot, the group kind of turn around and seeing this. Melvin kind of trying to force himself into the hole, realizing he is too wide to fit into the hole on Tuntun's back, giving up after a few moments.
No, in his neck.
Oh, into his neck. Oh, you're trying to sneak into... He is still medium.
I will try to hide in the shell. Yeah, 2 foot around.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you're 2 foot round? Wait, hold up. Wait, what? Really? Oh, shoot.
He's a little.
I forgot about that. I always thought you were bigger. Yeah, as you go sneaking in, you manage to pop into Tuntun's inside his neck flap, where he has the rights to the deed for that, as he feels you kind of snuggle into him, basically, and you plop into a point where you suddenly smell nothing but sweetness and rot. As the scent of pastries that you're not sure how long they've been sitting here for.
Well, it's better than whatever that giant fucking thing is.
Tuntun hears in the back of his head now. As...
This is returned. They're telling me to kill.
Tuntun thinking this himself, yeah. As you all turn around, you see Volgera and a group of frost giants, all outfitted in full-on leather equipment, armed and ready. They look like they have been kind of waiting here for a while as they stare at you.
So I assume y'all are the ones I'm supposed to escort?
Yes. And that's all he says.
We're supposed to escort them? Why?
Yes. So, not even last night, a little while ago, God reached out to me, told me that I am to serve as a guide for these people, to find the Queen of the Fae.
Oh, you're just showing them around and we're just tagging along? Okay.
Yes. I was told that we will be immune to any fighting, but that is as far as it goes.
With that being said, Tuntun, give me a reflex save.
Of course. I'm 18.
Okay. That is a fail, as you
Goddamn! What have you done to me, guys?
A little bolt of flame comes flying out and smacks into the side of Tuntun's shell, burning the mithril off of his shell and like landing onto the ground. You fully take the damage, Tuntun.
What is this bullshit?
As you hear Doots say that you are not to be immune to injury.
As Volgera was mid-sentence, we got shot. He says immune to death, not fighting.
No, the correction. Thank you.
I think I'm just gonna join Melvin.
I'm gonna eat dudes at some point.
I said, Tuntun, as you look to the side of your shell, you realize there's a tiny, like, sized marble that is dug into where the impact hit.
I'm very angry now.
I'm curious, what is it?
Tuntun can't. It's on the sides. And
Kill them.
Tuntun, you hear this in your head. As you look over, at kind of looking at you've never seen something like this before.
I
Utham,
am
Utham
Bulgarian.
has. Yeah, Utham has, but yeah,
Like,
you have no idea. It's small, round, and looks like it's been melted away as you feel, as you kind of look at it closer. It looks like it's probably condensed itself down quite a bit.
Well, it's not Bulgara's problem. It's not.
Gygax, you're also going into Tuntun's neck, you said?
Hell yes.
Get out of my fucking neck!
Now as Tuntun's head is slightly kind of kinked to the left a little bit now with Gygax inside there as well.
For one AoE thing at Tuntun, I can hit all three of you.
So who here has experience with Fae? I'm asking in general to everyone, including the party.
Well, you don't see Gygax and Melvin now as they're both in Tuntun's neck hold flap.
Tuntun looks at Dudes very pissed off.
I think Bulgaria gives like a hand wavy, like kinda, and that's it.
Well, then you would probably know, or you should know, that they feed off of desires. So it's best that when you interact with one, you keep your mind clear. Speak truthfully. Do not
Hey Tuntun,
fuck up.
give me a will save.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Why is everything named Tuntun?
Well, there's a reason for it, but for this
16.
one, fucking me saves. Tuntun, for a moment you smell the scent of pastries on the air coming from the same area of a group of trees off to the side where that, like, firebolt hit you, or came from that hit you in the side.
By the way, how much did it was 8 damage, yeah?
It was 8 damage, 8 fire damage.
They will try and tempt you with your deepest desires. It's best you just hold steadfast and do not indulge.
Ton.
He looks at the forest, looks at you, looks at the forest.
No, honestly, it's more of a... I can feel it happening, I'm also mocking Dudes. Ton. I'm fucking done with this shit, is pretty much what's going on right now.
It sounds like there's a lot going
slowly-
on out there, Gygax. I'm glad we're in here.
I'm starting to get seasick in here from all the rocking back and forth of
They
Typhon
did!
being angry.
Tuntun's gonna shove his head back
I
in a
slowly-
minute.
I slowly put away the bear claw that I was gonna give Tuntun.
No temptations, no desires.
Not the
Understood.
time. Tuntun, you start to... Well, give me an intelligence check, actually. This isn't a save, don't worry. No, you're not being attacked. This is to see for your comprehension here.
16.
From what Dudes is saying, something kind of clicks with you for a second. No temptation, no, like, falling for anything. You get the realization, Gygax and Melvin are helping you by causing a slight crick in your neck that there's always a little bit of irritation there, so you won't fall for the temptation as you focus on that.
I demand rent.
Melvin.
I feel like he was
Gygax.
thinking of Gygax.
Dudes,
How
are
do
you
you
gonna...
feel if there's
where-
somebody
where did
always
y'all
in the
go?
crick of your neck?
I was gonna say, Dudes, are you gonna go down, get right in the neck flap of...
Yeah, well, hey, you know it's a fucking party, ain't it?
I'm not
See, like,
getting
it's all
into it, more like
spread out.
sitting
It's pretty roomy
Party
in
at
here.
my place, I guess.
sitting right in front of Tuntun's face, trying, just staring at his neck flaps, seeing if I can see them just crestled in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Do y'all understand? I
I'm
need
not
to
here
make
right
sure y'all
now.
do.
Please leave a message
He
with
did tell me
Tuntun.
to stay like Tuntun, so.
If I carry them, can we get moving?
Tons
Yes.
you know what? Tons is just gonna start moving forward. I'm done with this.
Doesn't want to be picked up
Get the
either.
fuck out of here.
Doesn't want to be picked up either.
I will stand. We started taking or moving. I will say to Volgara, if you can carry the 5,000 turtle, that's up to you.
Let me make sure about one thing. Bulgaria here's 5,000. That's not even a fourth of what he can carry.
Tuntun, are you gonna try and fight being picked up?
No, I'm not picking up. I asked if I do. He started moving, so I assume he doesn't wanna.
I do
Okay.
not want to be picked up.
But to ask. Okay. As you guys start heading into the forest, Doots and Tuntun, give me search checks. Gygax and Melvin, I assume as you are hiding in the neck holes, you are not going to be like actively trying to stare out.
8.
8. Okay.
Natural 20 for 21.
Nice. Tuntun, as you,
Search?
yeah.
Because I do want to keep an eye out,
Okay.
just in case.
The little angle he can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuntun, as you're kind of like the creak in the neck is just bugging you right now. You're kind of looking about, but you know this is the pain. And as you start to feel Gygax kind of slightly shift about, so you can kind of look out, it kind of starts to drive you a little bit more irritable. As you start to try and get more comfortable, it's still feeling the creak. But as you start focusing on, you do notice something. But we'll get back to that in a moment. Gygax, as you look about, you see the pretty fields of grass, the many occasional pebbles, the occasional gold pieces on the ground that Tuntun walks past, the golden apples that seem to be coming from the trees, the Melvin in trouble being stabbed by under one of the trees by a spider.
Oh.
Does Gygax react at all?
Natural 20 will save.
As you do so, you start to kind of shake it off for a moment as you do, feeling Tuntun moving about, kind of disturbing the almost drone of the spell. You feel yourself kind of coming back to it as you see it's just normal apple that you suddenly see a smile on, and some teeth sticking out of. The coins that you see on the ground, you notice look to have little teeth marks on them, kind of catching your attention.
Also, here's Melvin just, are we there yet?
Even more reason why Tuntun got an 8.
No.
Every bad roll tonight for Tuntun while you guys are in his neck hole is gonna be or neck flap is gonna be blamed on you guys. I hope you know.
Oh yeah.
Dudes, as you start kind of finding your way, you start to recognize some of the pathways, following a road finding a light dirt road that's just barely traveled enough by the few Fae who actually do physically walk rather than fly or float. You start to follow it with ease, almost like you're being guided somewhere, as you don't remember ever having been to this castle or knowing this Queen of the Fae. It's almost strange that you're able to find the path in the right direction as you go forward. As you start to kind of confidently walk a bit more farther forward, Tuntun, who's, I imagine, being a bit slower and kind of just moving enough to kind of keep pace at this point while he kind of like tries to keep pushing his neck in to kind of close up the whole of the area a bit more to slowly encourage the two to get out. Tuntun, you notice there's a toad on the back of Doots' back. That
That's
seems
the same toad.
You recognize Trollbane, who seems to be having his toady hand, his warded hand, if you will, or kind of glowing slightly as it hangs on to Doots' back.
Not my problem.
Fair enough.
Do I notice him?
You do not.
Okay.
As you
I'll
look
nod at him and say like, "Hey, what's up?" Hey, that's it.
as you nod at him, you see he nods back, and as you see him nod back, kind of noticing his head's also slightly anchored up, as you kind of look over, you notice Vulgaire is also following the toad, not Stoots. As Trollbane is like also making pointing with his slightly curling in his flip. What is a frog's hand called? Fucking.
Pad.
Is it a pet?
Like,
Flippers?
I think it's like webbed feet. Or
Web feet, that's what it is. Yeah, I think it's web feet. Yeah, I think that's right. Its web toes, pulling them in one by one, as it kind of like continues to point like with one of its web toes toward in different directions, as Dudes like seems to seemingly go in that same direction as it does. You lot continue to find yourselves walking through the brilliantly colored forest. In the distance, still hearing the occasional sounds of explosions in the distance, where you see the floating warship. By the way, Tun, give me another reflex save.
Yep. All right.
Don't worry, if you do succeed, it goes somewhere else.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Dudes, give me a reflex save. As Tun jumps out of the way, seeing it coming this time, recognizing the sound, not wanting to be hit again.
14.
14. As you try to dodge out of the way, you feel as something suddenly impacts your side, slamming hard into you, as a small ball of iron hits you, doing 4 points of fire damage. As it lands slamming into your bite, kind of slams, squishing some of your ribs, you feel the impact, and as it drops to the ground, it leaves a sizable crater.
It only does fire.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
I think Dutes has a -5 to fire damage.
I do.
You take no points then, as the impact hits you.
I pick up the ammunition and I just walk with it.
As you pick up the small thing, your fire resistance does keep you from taking more damage as you pick up the very hot piece of iron off the ground that's still slightly squishable as you, for a few moments, as you can kind of putting your fingers to it. Give me a strength check real quick to see if, yeah, just a d20 plus your strength modifier. To see if you squish
14.
Easily, as you go to pick it up, not realizing how malleable this thing is, your fingers squish it down to a nice-sized little frisbee. It's almost like Play-Doh seems to wrap around your finger for a moment.
I'll toss it to the side as I continue walking.
Okay. Alright. The airship still in the distance hunting the gargantuan pixie. You can see it chasing in the sky. Basically, yeah. As you kind of flick your finger away, the iron seems to hit one of the trees. Vulgara and Tun in the back, you watch as the iron kind of smacks into the tree, leveling it almost completely as it falls over. Dude's not seeming to at all react as he keeps going forward. As you lot head deeper and deeper into the forest, you come across a very bright and colorful area that, as you get closer, start to feel something, Dudes, as if you're in the right space. As you find this opening that has a few trees spotted throughout, a little brook of a river kind of gently coming through off of a small waterfall. Coming in from the southern area of this this map, you see the large bridge that goes over, crossing across the lake. A group of mushrooms that seem to be about. And as you all look on, you begin to notice a large group of creatures floating about. Small and actually almost hard to catch at first as you get closer, due to the sparkling lights in the area, the tiny little lights that seem to flicker. You hear these squeaking voices as suddenly little sounds of clinging, like pieces of small metal start going off all about the area. As you all look about, you don't see anything other than these lights like smacking into each other.
Anton, is it safe to come out yet?
Melvin, I think that's a no.
You feel the frills of Tuntun's like slight extra skin on his neck kind of moving and shuddering with the noise.
Alright, thanks for the heads up. And then with one of my tentacles, I'll like scratch the neck area.
Melvin, it's
I mean, it's a unable to reach place. He might appreciate it, honestly.
you feel Tun is that piece of dirt that got caught in there kind of flecks away for a moment. It's slightly nice, but it's still your neck's still got a crick in it, you know.
I never knew there was an itch there before. Now I know it's there.
Well, yeah.
You know how it's like sometimes you accidentally like, you know, brush by a place and it's like, oh wow, that place is actually itchy. And now you just
No!
can't stop feeling the itch.
No. But alright, as you lot look, you start to hear little voices screaming at each other. Something, as you start to pick it up, it gets louder and louder as you start to acclimate to the area. It almost sounds as if something, or a magical effect cast on the area seems to take effect on the party. As you hear little squeaks and squawks of creatures going, "No, neutrality is good. No, eating them is good. No, we treat them nice and then eat them." As the swords and sounds of other small weapons clang against each other, you start to notice that these are a group of pixies, around roughly 260 of them.
Yeah, so it's an excellent thing that we didn't jump into combat, otherwise we would have been instantly vaporized. I'm very glad.
You look, the battle seems to be going about the water, the little flowers, little shrooms, the trees themselves seem to have fights going on. There seems to be clearly 3 different factions that you recognize that are going on against each other. Give me a moment to pull up something really quickly. Alright. Oops, wrong one. Is it this one that I was looking at? Yes. The first group, you notice, seems to be, what I can only equate to Smurfs, is the best way to explain them. As you see these little light blue-skinned, with brightly forest green hair and brown hairy legs, wearing full leather armor, smacking at the other creatures. You recognize these lot immediately, Dutes, as the Grig. A group of, or a race that is well known for their belief that all should try to be good for neutrality, and something else that you don't really recall. The second group you lot catch on to, and recognizing these dudes, are called Nixies. They are a bit more slim and a bit prettier looking, with their lightly scaled but yet pale green skin. They also have very dark green hair. Many of them seem to be dressed slightly scantily clad in very erotic, like seaweed placement, if you will. Though seeming to hold their own with what looks to be little pearl shields and bits of coral as weapons as they fight on. The Nixies, you're not really 100% sure what the creatures are known for besides the fact of something about the eating people, but again, that's most Fae. The last group you recognize as Pixies. They seem to all easily be notable because most of them seem to be wearing what looks to be like large mushroom caps on them that are very brightly colored, that they seem to use as a sort of armor alongside their two-handed small weapons. The 3 factions seem to be battling and duking it out all around as you lot watch this.
And it looks like there's no way to get through them without confronting them.
Without disturbing the fight. As you look about, you can give me a... what's your casting? Your casting's charisma, correct?
Yes, it is.
How about just a charisma check on this one, then, to see if you sense any magic that would keep you from going around the area, or any ways around this, or if this is even an illusion.
All right. I got a 16.
Does not trust Everett anymore after last. That's fair. 16. With a 16, you start to sense you're in the right place. Somewhere in here, the Fae Queen exists. You're unsure where she is, but you're definitely in the right place.
I'm saying this out of character. All of them, none of them look notable, like unique in any way.
You can try and do a search check to see if you can find any of their leaders or anybody who might look like a leader. You can also try to do a knowledge, history, or nobility to see if they have what their leaders' names might be, if that's what you're looking for.
I do not have either of those, so I'm doing a search. I got a 10.
10. Are you gonna point? Are you gonna ask Tun to also help you with this stuff, or are you just gonna, or is Tun just gonna be staring at this for right now? Because he's following your lead from your for this perspective.
Yeah, I'll ask for his help. If you see anyone that would look like more of a leader of any of these factions,
What's the leader look
can you
like?
point them out to
I
me?
can't say, but Tuntun's gonna look at him like confused.
Someone,
I'm a year old. Keep that in mind.
the one that looks like someone that looks to be calling all the shots. You know, everyone's going to them specifically to figure out what to do first. You know, they may have armor or clothing or something unique to them that the others do not.
Tuntun will nod.
All right, Tun, why don't you also give me a search check? I know you've been good at these all night, man.
12.
12. All right. As you kind of take a look through, between the two of you, you start to spot some unique looking features. The three creatures kind of catch your attention immediately, though, as you start to look about. Though a couple of them are uniquely dressed, you count almost 12 that are. 3 seem to suddenly lock eyes with the large stone armored giant that stands behind you with his unit, and seem to kind of stop mid freeze of combat as they look. And they seem to look very unique, as many of their outfits and weapons seem to be of higher quality by the looks of it between the two of you.
I guess I'll try to point that one out to Doots.
Okay.
Bulgar's just having a stare down.
Yeah. Tun, you point over. You see Grig, or you see the Grig's leader, the Nixie's leader, and the Pixie's leaders that catches your eye after Doots seems to not be only able to track 12 of them. You seem to lock in a bit better. As you point them out, Doots, you recognize the 3 leaders' house or clans markings immediately, especially with their massive sigils upon their chest. The fighting seems to kind of quiet down somewhat, but still combat is still being heard as the 3 leaders seem to still be staying on the battlefield, just kind of watching you lot. Each of them seeming to be in different spots of the battlefield.
I take a step forward and will begin speaking.
Okay.
Hello. How are y'all doing today? If I can, please have a word.
Remind me what your alignment is, Doots.
Neutral evil.
Neutral evil? Okay. Give me 1 second.
Methinks you're only going to attract one of the 3 leaders.
Does
Me
an
also thinks this.
as you feel a little something kind of pokes you for a moment, you see as a little pin of wood kind of spikes into your arm and falls to the ground. Not really causing you any damage, just more of an irritation. As you see one of the Grig warriors seeming to coming over to you and shooting his longbow at you.
I mean you no harm. I'm just visiting. I request to see the queen.
Oh, that was a 1d2.
Hey, you got a nat 2.
I know, right? Does an 18 hit you, dudes?
An 18 does hit me.
Alright. He is going. The warrior is going to continue to shoot at you. As you continue to speak, doing 0 damage. As you feel another toothpick, this time drawing a little bit of blood, you see the little, like, twig kind of spikes into your forearm. A little dribble kind of going down like a paper cut as it falls. Tun and the rest of the party manage to easily see this creature doing this to him, not backing down. The warrior seems to continue to try ready his bow, readying another arrow towards you as you continue talking. Or as you're talking.
Ow. Why are you attacking me? I don't really want to cause any harm. I want to just go ahead and get this done.
Tun, you begin to feel little arms and legs climbing all over you.
A very low rumble that vibrates throughout Tuntun's entire body, expressing distaste for this.
I have a bad feeling about this, Gygax.
The turtle kind of like the armor, or the shell slightly shivering a little bit. The skin tightening up. You see Volgera seems to usher over one of the leaders, kind of getting their attention. You see as one starts to come forward, the other two seem to immediately come charging forward as well. As all three of the sprites, sprite leaders kind of come forward, you continue to feel, Tundun, the crawling up and down you. It feels somewhat familiar, but yet unfamiliar at the same time, and you're unsure why. But as these three leaders come forward, you watch as the little warrior that was shooting at dudes kind of backs away and falls back to the battlefield. The three creatures kind of stare up at Volgera, then look over at Dutz, and then look at Tun. As the smallest of the three, it seems to kind of smile and laugh as you look at her with her long pinkish hair of the Nixie leaders. She seems to have a quite impressive clam-like shield, or shell for a shield, as she kind of looks up at you, and she kind of giggles and snickers in Tun's direction as she sees the mini sprites going up and down his body.
Are they, like, doing anything?
No. They just seem to be climbing and moving about.
Oh, okay.
As you look over, you do see some of them are fighting each other on Tun's back. There's like a small battlefield going on in Tun. A few of them falling into the portal that are going to the mortal plane.
You know, Tun is going to embrace his role as a object and lies down and is just going to try to not pay attention to anything going on.
Tun is depressed.
He became a Call of Duty map and he was in the AO.
I'm just gonna become the fucking rock I was meant to be.
Lays down, tucks in his head, and waits. So yeah, as you look in front of you, you see the very proud house sigil of Dimple Bust. It looks to be the ass cheeks of a humanoid with blood kind of smeared all over it, like as if like people have taken bites out of it, very zombie-esque like. The second house, which looks to be a giant clam, you recognize the sigil of Wrinkle Flesh. Yes, these were randomly generated names, by the way. I did not roll these. I did not pick these. I
assumed.
The very proud, and the one member you recognize, the very proud leader of the Great Clam Wrinkleflesh House, Lady Quinn herself. Then, of course, the last one that you recognize as a large tree that looks like a 5-pointed flower, of course, being the House of Greenbud. The three leaders staying before you, you can easily see the Grig leader being a male that you don't recognize the person, and the Nixie and Pixies being led by two ladies. The Nixie's the only one you're recognizing as Lady Quinn. I'm probably gonna have to write those down for people, aren't I? Yep.
Yeah.
I got you.
I just didn't know the which one was Dimplebust and which one was Greenbud.
You're good. You've got the right order for that, so you're good.
Yep.
The three representatives kind of float over and are kind of hovering in front of you, dudes, waiting for you to speak.
Thank you for seeing me. I wanted to, or I will reiterate, I'm here to see the Queen of the Fae, as I was tasked with escorting these fine gentlemen, seeing her.
You see the older male come forward as his crier shouts out, "Lord Melos of the Dimplebust household, the undisturbed line for 20 generations. Give me does anybody have knowledge, nobility, or history by chance?"
I do.
No.
Okay.
Knowledge, local, and knowledge of nature.
Your case, local would work.
Okay.
I felt like Volgara would
22.
Okay. What is Volgaire gonna get? Oh no.
Oh, I have a plus 20. 25.
Alright.
I have local, arcana, and dungeon.
Local wouldn't, and a dungeon wouldn't work on this, and Arcana wouldn't for the history of this. You would both know that the name, you'd recognize that the name Dimplebust is actually a mistranslation that happened many years ago. The house's actual last name is supposed to be Dimple Dust. But because of a mistranslation between an exchange between house members, the house completely changed its mentality and became well known for its neutrality. They are also believed in being good for neutrality, for it is the only way to experience neutrality, or experience the neutrality through the good of the world. Most Fae think that their concept of neutrality makes very little sense overall. As he kind of comes forward, he looks at you up and down, Dutes, and goes, "I know your mother, young man. You can't hide from me, and your turtle needs to stop sitting there and acting like a battlefield for our men. He's getting in the way and giving an unfair chance to the pixies and that hole." As he says this, you see what the member of House Greenbud kind of stands up as she her crier announces her as Lady Danun. And she kind of smiles up wickedly as she kind of spits up a small finger
Your fucking shoes from out the fucking door.
Hey, Jenna.
Oh, that's his girlfriend? Oh,
That's his
damn.
guy.
Oh! Oh, no!
The shoes must be.
Damn!
Shoes must be moved, Caleb.
Do I have a whip sound?
No.
When I come back.
I'm moving them.
No! No!
Look, if y'all guys think I'm getting my ass beat out for shoes, y'all are wrong.
Man, yeah, let me know once your shoes are moved. I don't want you upsetting the master of the household here.
Is this how it is for you, Robert? Look, I already got texted that she wishes she shot, or she could shoot the foot of the person that got me into D&D.
Fucking damn, man. Run! Run! Run far.
Alright.
As you move the shoes, as we don't want to upset the master of the house, the Lady Danun comes forward, smiling as she kind of spits a small pixie finger out of her teeth, completely like sucked dry of any flesh on the thing, nothing but a bone, and goes, "And your men can't hit the broadside of a barn even if the turtle managed to flip over and do a trick." And she kind of and you hear music suddenly play in the background to kind of enunciate her insult to him.
I would like to pop out of the turtleneck.
Okay. As you do, you see all three of them kind of look over and go, kind of Stark, the Lord Melis of Dimplebust kind of looking over and goes, Good heavens, you have a portable beholder in you. What is this grand creature?"
I'm Melvin.
This turtle has managed to tame and house beholders. How many more could be inside of it, I wonder? I will send my men to scout the backside of the tunnel.
I brought the air.
Tun shudders in disapproval.
The mountain continues to move as it seems to be dissatisfied. Maybe if we toss more of the pixies into it.
While I do appreciate y'all, I do not think the turtle, I don't think Tun appreciates everyone on top of him. If y'all could please move your battlefield elsewhere.
The three pixie leaders, or the three sprite leaders, kind of look at each other and just sigh annoyedly, looking at Vulgara behind Dutes. And as each of them in tune snaps, you watch as their warriors disappear. Tun, as you start to feel something poking at your tail with like a rapier or some like stick, as if creatures are like fighting each other and missing. A moment of both anger and irritation kind of hits you as they disappear just as quickly as it hits. You can smell the taste of pastry suddenly appearing in front of you as you see the temptation of these things laying out right in front of your face. The three sprite leaders kind of now teleport themselves in front of Tun, each smiling, kind of with a wicked grin on their face as they look at Tun. Each of them seems to cast something on themselves, and as they do, Tun, you begin to hear your native tongue kind of going through your head as they each speak. Lord Melis kind of puts forward a very bright and chocolately thick donut that seems to be all the way covered in frosting as he smiles.
It's my native tongue, so we're going to be at this for a while.
Yeah, exactly. As they begin to speak, the rest of you see as Tun and each of them, these sprites seem to start to converse. Tun, each of them offer you a contract, a pact, in exchange for as many pastries of the one they put in front of you. Give me a second. I'm going to send you a message of each of the ones you're going to get. Alright, let me find you. No, I understand. Give me a second. You're gonna see some interesting stuff in here in a moment. And then, because I actually had this pre-designed.
Caleb, I don't want to hear shit from you, Mr. I'm gonna take a deal with the Elithids.
Fuck
off.
They do not force you to take a pact, as they kind of offer in the back.
So all I get is like, there's a choice between 3 pastries, but I don't really get a in-depth idea of what these contracts are.
All they offer, or all they ask, is that in exchange for all they want is a bit of your mithril every year, and from your shell, in exchange for as many pastries as you would request of them of those types, of that type of pastry.
This is the jelly bean wizard all over again.
I want to let them judge.
Gygax, you do pick up almost an hour's worth of Tun's world turtle language in the background as you sit on his back listening.
Yay, more learning.
As they have this conversation, you see as the pixie leaders reappear back in front of Dutes, as if not, almost time has stood still between the 4 figures as they talk. Tun sniffing and looking over the pastries and contemplating right now. They come back to you a lot to listen. Tun, do you have any questions, or would you like to choose? Or would you like to say no to all 3?
I would like to instead of taking a contract with either of them, I would like to offer them the option of perhaps creating an embassy on my shelf for them to come together and talk with amongst themselves and other maybe fey creatures in the future.
Give me
a true neutral point for fey creatures to commune.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Fun
Ton.
fact, guys, I'm not actually good at diplomacy. 15. Not that bad.
Can I assist by being intimidating?
You can. The conversation is going on at the same time in a what looks to be a warped time bubble of sorts. That seems to be speeding up and slowing down. They don't have any bonuses. Oh wow, this is gonna be interesting. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what we get, gentlemen.
Because Tauntaun is an incredibly neutral creature, so doing something like that is definitely probably more like he's true neutral.
Okay. Adding their modifier. The creature seemed to take a moment, and they seem to nod in agreement as you offer this in exchange that they each kind of take a quarter or a third of their pastry, tearing it apart and kind of mashing it together into almost a horrendous mush that kind of almost offends you for a moment, even if it wasn't for a symbolic like message of what they're trying to do. You feel the area in your neck where Gygax and Melvin had kind of popped out of, kind of suddenly fills slightly with something inside. The creak in your neck now back, but now nothing seemingly able to get into there as easily as you feel your pastry is slightly guarded now.
Nice. The accord has been written.
You look in there and you see a small, as you look into your neck, side of your neck, you see a small, gorgeous marble building that has beautiful glass that seems to shine and sparkle even in this darkest cave. Your pastries where they're sat kind of guarded by what looks to be a bronze fence that's designed ornately and slightly spiked to keep people out, along with your bedroll and your other stuff now being guarded behind this fence.
Nice. My goods are guarded. Woo.
As you come to this agreement, we'll come back to you in a minute. Dutes, Melvin, Gygax, and Vulgara, you see as the three leaders now kind of stand in front of you waiting to hear what you have, what request you have of them.
I request to speak to the Queen.
Lord Mellis looks at you again and goes, "That is ridiculous, you young, and you cannot see the Queen? How could you ever think you'd have any right after what your mother did?"
Vulgara will let a rumbling slightly sigh. And he will, crouch down as much as he can to get on roughly eye level. I know he probably can't go low enough, but he's gonna try.
Okay.
And he's going to say, as the right hand of the Frost Giant King, I wish to meet with your queen.
Lord Mellis gets right up into your face, drawing his little toothpick of a rapier and glaring at you, and goes, "You dare to challenge my decision in these noble halls?"
We have come with an accord to get rid of a Sheridan.
He looks down at Dutes and goes, "I don't like you." It kind of floats back to the other two. Both the noble ladies seem to kind of the Nixies and the Pixies leader both seem to kind of stare at each other and kind of looking back at you, trying to detect if you are lying or not, and not being able to tell. Finally, Lord Mellis kind of speaks up again and goes, "If you're so grand and have such an importance, you should have some sort of mission, like set up with her. We should have known you were coming. Show us proof you show us no diswill or evil deeds towards the Queen."
I will tell you, DM, because I can't tell you. I do have a +0 to bluff.
Mm-hmm.
He can't really lie.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to go the opposite direction with this. If I wish to show malice, you would feel it. As I will motion to the sword on my side. My anger is only, shown when the sword is out. And he will hold the sword out to them and see if they feel what radiates off the sword.
Alright, let me roll.
If they don't, I know everyone can feel it if I draw it.
They do not. But Lord Melis, kind of shoos your hand away. You feel an arcane push. How much do you weigh, by the way, Vulgara?
Vulgara is immune to spells.
Ooh. So normally where you all see a arcane, like a little mage or slightly translucent mage hand kind of trying to push away the hands, as he waves his rapier in the air.
I think with how his immunity works, any that comes in skin contact kind of just vanishes, so the hand would hit and just vanish.
Melis kind of looks up at you with annoyance and goes, "The young one must speak for his deeds before we let you anywhere near our court." And he looks back down at Doots and glares with just as he looks at you, Doots. You can see the anger in this creature's eyes.
I don't think this guy likes you, dudes.
Well, what did your mom do?
Yeah, me neither, Melvin. I am also curious, Vulgara. What is it that my mother did?
She's the one who was responsible. She brought that creature into our midst, almost got the queen killed, got your village enslaved, then willingly signed up with her and walked away. She didn't even care. She even said that that she was going to come back and steal her son's turtle. I didn't know what the hell that meant until I saw him, as he looks over at Tun-Tun. And you dared to bring one of them in here. You know those creatures eat our kind. As he kind of like points over to Gygax with his rapier, kind of like slightly snarling a little bit at Gygax. Gygax, it's like a chihuahua staring at you with anger in its eyes.
I assure you, this one will not bring you any harm.
He might eat you.
Melvin,
Dudes,
you are not helping.
I'm just being honest. He almost ate
And
me a
I'm
couple
being-
times, but we figured it out.
If Gygax wants to be able to go and kill more spiders, he will do his best to be on his best behavior, as I slowly turn to look at him and not harm a single Fae in this realm.
Huh? I'm not hungry right now.
Good.
Lord Melis looks over at Gygax and goes, "It's just a matter of time. I know you're kind."
As I reach into the saddlebag
That
of
is-
Tun-Tun and pull out a pastry and eat it.
As you go to pull it from the back, you watch as the Lord Melis kind of backs up and hides behind the other two leaders, kind of guarding himself behind the large clamshell banner. As he sees Gygax pull out the pastry, just relaxes and goes and kind of brushes himself off as he floats back over, acting as if nothing just happened. The other two seem to kind of look on at you, and then finally, Lady Quinn begins to speak as you hear her slightly raspier voice, which I can't do right now. I apologize. I was able to do it earlier, but my voice is a little fucked right now. As she goes, "If you wish to see the Queen, and you wish to be proven, you must choose who is right, and choose who must be exiled. There are three options to show your truth to the Queen, to show who you are and what you are. The true neutral, neutral evil, or neutral good. Who is right?"
Do we all answer together, or... Because Vulgara already has an answer.
She seems to be staring at Doots.
Ooh.
Who is to be exiled?
She looks at you with confusion.
You're the one that picks.
I try to speak psionically to Doots.
Okay, give me a... Let's just do an intelligence roll, let's say. See if you can manage to pull it off. Oh, you succeed.
Doots, I think the answer is neutral is the correct way.
My vote is to be true neutral.
You see Lady Quinn of the Great Clam Wrinkleflesh smiles as she hears your answers and goes, "If that is what you say, that is the ally you get." As she says, saying that, you watch as she pulls out two knives out of her, like the sides of her hips, as if there was nothing there a moment ago, and stabs the other two leaders as they fall to the ground. You watch as the Pixies and Grig are completely assassinated and cut down left and right, remaining nothing but the aquatic Nixie-like creatures. Who seemed to smile in excitement as the blood, them being soaked in blood was the best thing that could have happened. As the bloodshed finishes up, though, you start to see as one of the scouts of the Nixie kind of comes up and nods excitingly as he kind of runs past each of you and goes up to the little gong that was right behind you, hidden underneath one of the tree stumps. That has a small sign that says "Ring" in case of needing the queen. And as the Nixie walks up and smacks it, you watch as the water, some creature comes out of the water, a large... At first, you see a beautiful and almost glowing with vibrant light as the light seems to crystallize through the wings. A fairy dragon that seems to emerge from the water. Almost as if as the water kind of melts away from the creature, it seems to slightly shift its appearance to look more like a Lachey. The dark onyx skin on of its body kind of... glistening in the light, its long, bright white hair, seeming to have almost drift down and turn into its clothes and robes, completely covering the creature as it walks over to you. In front of you stands the Queen of the Fae, Fairy the Forgotten Song. And as you see her, Doots, you immediately find yourself compelled to kneel. Give me a will save.
I got a 13.
You find yourself forced to one knee and kneeling with your head bowed to the floor towards the ground as this creature comes out of the river, walking onto the shore. She saunters over
I was gonna
slowly.
do that anyways.
She saunters over slowly as she sees your party and looking about. Fully clothed in long white robes that seem to flow with the wind, almost just slightly translucent enough to look magical in the properties as they float with it. She seems to watch the party. She looks on for a moment as she waits, and kind of noting Gygax's appearance, kind of like seems to, her eyes kind of lock on him for a moment as she then lets them drift once more, staring towards Doots, and goes, "So you chose neutrality. Cleverness was never your people's forte. What may I help you with, and why may I help you with, and why did you bring the stone giant with you?"
I was requested to guide this stone giant to you, for he had important business to discuss with you.
Ah, you are the ones who are being guided by the golden coin, gentlemen. That makes more sense. I sensed his interest in me. I do ask, are you responsible? And she just kind of slightly points off to the side as you see the very large warship still chasing that gargantuan pixie that now has a couple of holes in it as you hear the fanatical screaming of, "Give me your mustache oil."
I think immediately Vulgaris shakes his head no.
She kind of looks back at each of you and goes, "Good. Good, then you won't mind," as she snaps her finger and the worship just disappears at the blink of a light, as if teleported to another dimension or another plane. She looks back to you lot once more and goes, "So how may I assist one on such a divine mission?"
Bulgara will step forward like he's going to speak, still in the respectful stance that I sent you. I have been sent as the right hand of Regan Utham to negotiate for mutual benefit of both sides. We have heard you are having battle with the Loxodon. The elephant ones, if you will.
That is, she nods, true, but nothing I can't handle, and as my court has shown the many Loxodon skulls, as she kind of waves her hand, and you start to see the very brightly colored stone walls of her palace kind of envelop around you. A large kind of open courtyard with a fountain that seems to be where you find yourself standing. Many Loxodon of all shapes and sizes, some with fur, some without, kind of mounted on the walls, some with tusks made of pure metal that seems to sparkle a bright purple color. She looks at you once more and goes, "How can you do more than what I can already do by myself?"
Regan Utham can enhance the power of any creature who he works with permanently.
You mean with those disgusting fleshy pieces that make you no better than his kind, as she like kind of nods her head over towards Gygax?
The changes need not be quite fleshy. That's just the easiest way.
Oh, would you rather me end up like one of his kind, as she kind of glares at Melvin? Would you? I have no...
You need not look any different or feel any different than you do now.
You asked me to trust you to go under a position of vulnerability with your leader in exchange for power when I have no interest or intentions of knowing you.
Regan Utham had no intentions of working on you. More your foot soldiers to enhance their power.
My foot soldiers are being kidnapped by dragons and illithids, so unless you have something that can get rid of either of those parties, I would rather not you... go tell your god I'm not interested in charity.
The dragons
I just,
are
like, quick side-eye glance dudes and then back.
Yeah. Alright.
The dragons are a mutual enemy. We know which nation has been doing the kidnapping. At least on the dragon side.
Yes, and if it wasn't for that one's mother, I wouldn't have had to deal with that second front. The only reason I can assume that you'd bring him here is because he's the only one left of my secondary royal bloodline that can make it to this castle without being killed by the traps here. Or his mother's left a... She sighs and goes as she like starts. You feel something on your back start to lift, Doots, as the sounds of choking can be heard as you see Trollbane like grabbing at his throat as he is being floated towards this Lachey woman.
When did you get here?
Trollbane holding at his throat goes, "Not the time." She continues to strangle him until, as she is not stopped, until he passes out, and you watch as she continues to do so with the spell, assuming she's still not stopped.
Vulgara has no reason.
Dudes?
Please, can you please let him go?
Why should I? As she strangles harder, you hear him kind of croak a little bit. He
is all I have left right now of my mother.
Oh, he is? Perfect. And you see as she pulls out a blade and as she lifts him up and cuts his head clean off.
Not the right choice of words.
She is, "Your mother," she puts the blade away. just cost me half of my realm at this point. The only reason you're not dead is because of that fancy gold coin, but it doesn't say I can't cause a lot of damage right now to you. As you see a wicked smile and her lips she starts to lick her lips, you start to see a little bit of saliva kind of coming down. Tun, Gygax, you've seen this look before. You've given this look enough times to know what she's intending as she's looking at all of you.
Well,
How far am I from the portal on Tun's back?
About 5-10 feet. Why?
I'm gonna go to the portal.
Oh well, actually, with the size you are.
You know what? What a Fraz move right there.
As Melvin, seeing this, looks at Dutes, looks at Gygax, looks at Tun, shakes his head, goes flying towards the portal, and now that I realize he's actually that small, he can fit through and easily floats through. However, Melvin, you do find as you pop out, you are in the middle of the ocean and see no land around you for miles.
You have umbrage with how Regan Utham normally empowers. What if he could do it a different way, to wipe the slate clean? Regan Utham asks for very little in return.
What is it your leader seeks of me?
One of the people, although I hesitate to call them such, on the mortal plane has threatened subjugation of every other race and has recently become a quasi-deity. Lord Utham can enhance himself to that point without hurting anyone or doing anything. He just needs willing people to study. No harm, no foul, no nothing. Just willing participants, and they will come back afterwards without being touched.
Do you speak of the Toth leader by chance?
I do.
That's very unfortunate, as he's already made a pact with me.
May I ask what the pact entails?
Beyond what I can't say, of course, I've been asked to... Well, she turns and looks towards Dutes, Tun, and Gygax. With slight disgust in her eyes, she kind of slightly clicks her tongue, or her teeth together, or yeah, no, her tongue a little bit. And she kind of goes, to send this lot to him to ensure that his hunting goes well, and that in exchange, my safety and my livelihood of my people will not be bothered with by at least him or his associates. I do not see a reason to take up a deal with a lesser leader who has failed to understand the status quo in the current situation. He sends his lackey to come forward to talk to me instead of himself, which just goes to show how little value he sees me. And on top of that, he sends a traitor and his pets.
One, neither me nor Regan Utham even know who these people are. We set out a request for a random fate to guide us, and this is what we got. Two, you're not going to be safe. He has pacts with stronger beings, and he's already started eating all the strong beings that exist.
He won't eat me. No one can eat me. Now, I'm going to do you a kindness. Because you did decide to walk all the way out here. I'm not going to immediately send your party here, your scouts here, to where they had agreed to, as there is no time requirement for that job. And she looks over at Dutes, as she continues, but no, I will make sure that one day you will be hunted by this creature. As he asked and as he requested, you will be hunted down and killed. And I look forward to every second of watching it, as she kind of stares in Dutes' eyes.
With the contract complete, can Vulgara basically choose when he and the others leave now?
Yep.
Since he has been lit here. Vulgara will say that's unfortunate and put his sword back on his back. And he will say, it seems I have to negotiate with the dragons instead. And then he will click his fingers and everyone vanishes.
Okay. As the party, or as you see Vulgara vanishes with all the frost giants. Gygax, Tun, and Doots, you are still sitting here.
Well, that's unfortunate. I tried to get everyone out. You know what? Sorry, guys.
She looks at you and looks over at where Vulgaire was and his men were, and then looks back at Doots. Were you supposed to be leaving now?
I believe that was part of the case.
Why don't you see your way out? I can't kill you. It's not worth beating you into an inch of your life to stay.
I hope
But
you have a fantastic rest of your day.
she smiles at that and goes, I know you won't. And she turns and walks further into her castle. But as she does, you watch as the walls that she seems to walk past, they seem to dissipate as you find yourself back in the field you were in a moment ago, standing amongst the forest. And now a bunch of dead pixies and Greg lying about the ground. The clan, or the very large clan of Nixies, long gone. You lot just stand here. Melvin still floating over the ocean in the background, in the mortal plane.
I will
I go to
rejoin them.
Okay.
I go to the portal and yell through, Melvin, it's safe to come back.
As you go through, start shouting this, Melvin's like
Figured I'd
face
be
comes
staying
in.
close by, like watching it through the portal. You guys are doing good.
As you come back through, you find Tun yourself, Gygax, and Dude's just standing now in the Feywilds.
So that went over well.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's get out of here.
Okay. So you start heading back the direction you went. Give me another knowledge local or a knowledge nature. I will take either.
Both have the same modifier. I got 22.
22, yeah. As you all start heading back, following the forest, you continue on the pathway. Find it pretty easily. As you do, with the many dents from the cannons that had managed to land earlier. You track your way back after about another few hours towards where you started, seeing what looks to be a very ornately designed gold coin that's about 10 feet by 10 feet, kind of just standing up and seems to have some sort of swirling, a glowing light effect on the basically the coin itself. As you watch, a creature seems to kind of walk through as you see a little Murloc kind of poke his head through, look about, look at you lot, and then like scamper, like freaking out, seeing you, scampers and runs back through the coin.
I walk in the coin.
Okay. Alright, as the rest of the party follows through, you all find yourselves waking up from the dream, finding yourselves at the entrance to the city of Kabir Madani, the Zebral's Hive itself.
Please spell that.
Yeah, sure. Standing, or kind of pulling yourselves out of the mud, waking up fully. Melvin, you find yourself back in the middle of the ocean without your party, just kind of floating where you were just a moment ago. While the rest of the party slowly wakes up, finding themselves standing at the entrance to the city caves going down into the right. You all notice there is no Melvin anywhere.
Oh, where does he get now?
I look through the portal on Tuntun's back.
Yeah, as you hop onto Tuntun's back, you see the area of the Feywilds once more that you were able to see before. The slightly burnt down now the forest that you had entered into earlier with Doots last session. Tun, you do notice also the embassy is still in your neck flap.
And so the only holder of
It's
this
just the
embassy
Nixies.
is just the true neutral party.
Yeah, you do see the true neutrality banner hanging proudly above the little embassy.
To be honest,
And
I guess that it kind of sucks that they weren't able to all be together, but almost a force to embrace the true neutrality of the world to keep things in peace, at least on Tauntaun, would not go amiss.
True. What, Melvin?
Can I sense Zebril?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Can I just start heading that direction then?
Yeah. As you start to slowly float your way back, a few moments of you floating, give me a spot check just to see if you notice anything in the waters.
23.
23. As you're in the middle of the ocean, you start to kind of look down, seeing the water. It's quite crystal clear. You see fish kind of floating about. Many seem to be kind of happily swimming. As they do so, you start to kind of, something shiny kind of keeps sparking your attention as you look down. You're not sure what it is, but there's something down in the water that's coming towards you. It's quite sparkly as it's getting larger and coming up towards the surface.
I will fly up.
All right. As you start to fly up higher and higher, you start to notice two things that catch your attention. The first is that the creature that was coming, or the shiny object, starts to get smaller as it gets closer, and you finally start to notice you see a kind of ball-like creature with crab-like crab-like claws with little eyes on them, and a large center eye that seems to be slightly brighter, kind of casting almost like a light effect on it. It seems to be kind of swimming about at rapid speed towards you. You've never seen a creature like this before.
I will keep watching it.
Okay. As it gets closer and closer, you see for a moment, as it seems to notice you immediately up in the air and comes shooting straight up. You see as this creature comes launching up in the air, almost towards you at a breakneck speed. Before you can react, as the crab claws get closer, you see this creature looks like an underwater version of yourself. As it's about to clamp down at you and starts to say something, you find yourself suddenly reappearing with Doots, Melvin, and Gygax, as well as Tauntaun, now at the entrance to the city. As Zebril now suddenly stands in front of all four of you, kind of surprised and shocked.
Anybody ever seen a crab beholder before? I think I just did.
No. Are you okay?
I don't know.
Zebril kind of looks at you and then kind of smiles and just nods to each of you and says, "Come with me. It's time for your next mission." As Tauntaun kind of starts to follow along after. I assume the rest of you do so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. As you head into the city, the sounds of clapping can be heard as people seem to singing, dancing, celebrating your triumph. As things have gone, or as things are going on, Zebril looks back at you, Doots, and goes, "So you spent about a year in the Feywilds.
Oh, great.
How was your stay in that time? I'm quite happy to see you once again. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact of being able to see from everything that Melvin was telling me, I don't think I would have been able to. I would have lost track of you all."
Honestly, kind of wish it went better. I just lost another family member.
Oh, did you? Well, here, allow
Yes.
me, if you will. And he kind of like, you see as his hands start to move, magic seems to generate together, and out pops a small toad that looks a lot like Trollbane, but a very young version of him. And he goes, "It won't fulfill the hole he left. I understand that the emotion you're feeling. I do truly understand it, but I hope that this can at least help with the transition." As he hands you the toad.
I take him
You
and I
can
give him a hug.
the toad or Zebril?
Yes.
The toad.
Yeah, as you hug the little toad, it seems to respond. As you feel the wet sliminess of the toad's hand or paw, wet or paws. Webbed man tonight. All right, web feet kind of like touching onto your face as the creature tries to respond. As it does so, you it can't help but notice the creature leaves a slight tingling on you, and as you start to feel a slight burning as you kind of wipe away the slime. This Trollbane is slightly poisonous.
I will keep that in mind. I slowly kind of break the hug.
Yeah, as you pull him away, he kind of hops up onto your shoulder and just kind of sits there.
Thank you, Zebril.
He nods and goes, "I reward as much as I require." Now, to the matter at hand, as you watch as the castle walls open up and the illusion seems to change to his meeting hall as food's brought out and placed in front of you lot. I would like to talk to you all seriously, if you wouldn't mind having a seat and enjoying what you wish to eat as we talk. I want to know what your aspirations are going to be, and what ways you would like to gain renown for your party, for I would like your names to ring out across the world, to be as known and as dear to everyone else as you are to me. And I feel the only way to do so is to allow you to finally go and send you out into the world, if you will, so that you may enjoy and achieve what you need to do so. So, in order to share your greatness with the world, I ask of you all, where would you choose that you would like to go for your chance to grow your legends? Anywhere. Don't hold back. I will send you anywhere you ask.
Problem is I don't know many places that would
I've
be
never
very
been anywhere
accepting
but
of.
these lands, so I don't really know where else I would go.
A mimic enclave?
He smiles and goes, "I'm sorry to say that that is yet to be discovered, but as soon as I do find about it, you will be the first to know, young Gygax."
Okay.
The closest I could give you is where the City of Gold, the well-known Apex Mimic, would live, but I would fear that you might be eaten if you travel near the creature at this time. So if I may ask that we put off that trip till much later when you're better prepared.
Oh yeah, I understand that one.
He nods and goes, "I would not like to see any of you go through torments, so anywhere you would like to go, I'm happy to send you." As Tuntun enjoys his feast.
I don't know many lands. I would be very accepting of Melvin or of the Illithid kind. If you would happen to know of any, I would like to consider those.
I can give you a few options. I would recommend there is the Land of the Rakshasa, led by a very understanding woman according to what the world knows of them. No Illithids should be treated dishearteningly there. However, the lands around I cannot speak to be, well, safe for Illithids in the sense that you will not be judged or noticed. It may not be safe for travel, as it has been noted the gloom there and the proto-fiends are quite a warring lot. However, it is a mostly peaceful land, and you should not be judged. I would also recommend either the Gem Court or the Diamond Court. Either the city would also be willing to accept. I've already been offered a deal, if you will, with a contact there that I've made in exchange for some mercenaries that would be happy to help you lot in the Diamond's Court in hunting down monsters of renown, showing you the ropes of the world, and they themselves would be easy to distribute yourselves amongst. The leader of the country has already agreed to a safe passage amongst his lands. But I do not wish to impede you. If you think you can seek renown somewhere else, those are the only mere recommendations, are those lands. If you have some grander aspirations in mind, I would love to hear them and would be happy to assist you with them.
I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this name right.
It's okay. You can
want me to
butcher. You can butcher it. It's okay. I'm not going to be offended.
I know of the one. It's one of two, and I can guess. Do you want me to say it, Caleb?
Is it a Lithiander or is it
No,
Greg's
it's-
Maratom?
It's Greg's Maratom.
Yeah.
There it is. What of these lands?
Well, they're currently incorporated in war, which would give you lot a perfect chance to gain name and notoriety. As I understand, most of the renown people gain in this time are gained through the legends of their ability. And what better legends than to conquer entire armies with a single swoop of your tail? For those of you who have tails. If you wish, he has, there are creatures there that, even at their highest level, may be a little bit more to your capabilities on an individualistic level. The apex creatures out there are noted as a group of 5 creatures that seem to come together to form a danger. That, or the many creatures you could go and hunt there, as far as the lands go. There's many beasts yet to be tamed and domesticated, many species that are easily capturable, and to gain you quite a good wealth and reputation amongst the merchants. And as his lands is the lands of merchants, your name will travel even further. That would be all I would be able to give you for those lands. Your contact there will be a middleman that has been set up between me and the Diamond Court.
I think if it is okay with the party, that is my vote.
He looks to the rest of the party and kind of waits to hear.
Tunton being true neutral is like, oh.
I can hear your
trust
thoughts.
your judgment, dudes.
If Melvin says it, then I go too.
Zebro kind of looks up as from that and smiles at you as he looks over to you to see what you say.
Then to Greg's Master.
Greg Smartan? Greg's Smartan.
Greg's Maratom.
It's okay. It's also called the Diamond Court. That's a lot easier to pronounce.
Also, most leaders just call him Greg.
Yes. He nods and goes, "Do you need a rest, or are you lot ready to immediately head over there? I would, the sooner the better, but of course I understand if you'd like some time in town to finish up any last items or merchants or any orders you're waiting on." Kind of looks to each of you to see.
I'm fine. I'm ready to go. However, Tuntun has been eating a lot of pastries. I think we might need a refill.
He nods, and as he, you see, you can feel the wave of energy go throughout the hive as Zebril places a request with the honored carriage candy. He looks to you lot and goes, "If that is all you seek, and that is all you think you will need, I will send for you within the hour." And he kind of stands up and dismisses the illusion as he leaves you lot at a long table with food and goes into the actual castle, disappearing into it. You lot are left alone with a large feast and many a servant still waiting hand over fist for you lot as they come out with more food and drink.
I beckon one of the staff.
They look over to you and go, yes, how may I be of assistance? He kind of looks like a smaller illithid that looks to be still very young in his appearance.
Where we were, they said that my kind eats them, and I was just wondering if you happen to have a whole Grig, a whole Nixie, and a whole Pixie.
We can definitely, yes, actually, I see 3 now. Give me a moment as he kind of, like, walks over to Tuntun's back, and you see him start, like, flaying his knife at nothing. A few moments later, he comes back over with a plate, and it looks to be empty to you, Gygax.
I don't see anything.
I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not very happy that just happened.
He kind of taps you on. He taps the top of the of your chest-like appearance, and as he does so, you suddenly see the pixies, or the different sprites. I mean, rather the 3 different sprites.
Okay, I eat all 3, not together, but one at a time.
As you eat one at a time, they each taste amazing. Almost as if like a well-cooked steak. It is strangely delicious, Gygax. This is the first time you've ever tasted something like this outside of the food you've been prepared before.
After that, I'm gonna try and morph into them.
Alright, yeah. As you try to do so, you start to change. However, as you do, each of the rest of the party, you can't help but notice that Gygax, though looking to be able to mimic the 3 different sprites almost perfectly, each time his like mouth seems to naturally have its toothy grin that can't seem to stop like smiling and can't stop showing its teeth. Gygax, you don't notice this unless the party points it out.
Also, I'd be taller than they were, or bigger than they were.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the biggest smile I've ever seen you have, Gygax.
I'm so happy I can represent a humanoid figure, sort of.
Other than your mouth that I can see.
That's okay.
As Gygax kind of moves about and as he talks, you watch as the stomach is what opens up. The limbs seem to kind of move slightly like zombie-ish and very rickety, as if they're kind of like hard stuck slightly. Gygax, this is a stiff body. It is not easy to move around in comfortably as you start to kind of like try and figure out how the body works. The wings don't seem to flutter, and the body walks kind of in a weird fashion. It doesn't cause you pain, but just doesn't feel right to you.
2 legs is weird.
You'll get used to it.
I'm gonna try and make more legs.
As you try to change it, it does not pop out any extra legs. It just seems to everyone else, it looks like you just kind of brace down and look like you're trying to like either deadlift something really heavy or like are trying to like basically positioning yourself to take a massive shit. So,
Tell me, waiter, do you have any humanoid brains like still inside the skull? You know, kind of like a leg, but.
He nods, and a few moments later, he comes out with 2 skulls, a elven head as well as a Goliath head. With their brains still in it. The brain of the Goliath is about 1/4 of the size of the head. The elven one looks to be slightly smoother, but with less veins.
I would like to eat the elven brain.
Yeah, as you begin, you devour the. I mean, it tastes amazing, like it was made for you. The perfect seasoning on a well-done cooked piece of meat, as it swallows down easily. The rest of the party kind of watching this slightly weird even to them. But as you
Especially when I cracked it open and slurped the brain out.
yeah, as you finish up the skull or the elf, the skin of the creature looks to slightly deflate. The eye is kind of rolling back. The skin seeming to lose a lot of its color as he does so. The guards the waiters seeming to kind of watch on with awe, and like a few seem to clap as you do so. Oh no. But as you lot kind of sit about, a few moments later, you see as the large troll comes kind of running in with a big box of pastries and kind of walks up towards you lot, seeing you still eating, and smiles as he looks over at Tun Tun and goes, "I got you something, youngling." And he pulls out a small bag of holding and starts shoving the pastries into it, and goes, "This one is called a bag of fooding. It's a custom-made item. It only works for food, but no food going into it will go bad."
Baller.
And he looks at, and he kind of like hands it down to Tun Tun after he goes, "I filled it with 30 days worth of rations of nothing but different types of pastries. If you can find more than one of the same pastry in there, I'd be shocked."
Awesome.
And he looks at the rest of
Do you
you.
want me to attach it to the other bags on your back?
No, because then I can't reach it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
As he shoves it in his neck flap, I imagine. Or are you going to wear it like a necklace?
I'm gonna put it in my neck flaps.
Okay. Kind of going into the back guarded area of the embassy.
Yeah, like putting in the embassy. It's a guarded area. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I?
As you pull yourself back out, and Duras looks at the rest of you and goes, "Can I was only told to bring the rations. Did any of you need anything else?"
No, I'm good, thank you.
He nods. "I wish you good travels on your journey. I hear many of the lands are currently in war and encompassing a lot." And he kind of like stands up straight and goes, "Oh, also, a lot of adventurers have died in the city you're going to, so good luck with that." As he kind of like turns and starts jogging back to the town. As he disappears. Oh, yes, go ahead. Sorry, dudes.
No, I was just gonna say, well, that's good to know.
As you kind of settle yourselves in, finishing up your food, as the hour passes, Zebril comes back out, and kind of ushering one of his guards over with him. He looks at you lot and goes, "All right, now gather around. I need you all around here to do this." As you all kind of gather around Zebril, he kind of starts to say some strange strange language. You see the little letters seeming to almost in light kind of gleam out from his mouth, kind of forming different symbols in the air that none of you recognize as arcane in any way. And as he does so, you all suddenly find yourselves sitting in the middle of a open grassy field with a large camp about 10 feet to the north of you, where you can feel not only the nice warm brisk of the sun as it's slightly over can't fucking talk. There we go. Overcast day. The many people walking about this tent seeming to look a lot like Tun Tun, in the idea that many of them look like they're just walking animal-like people. Some look a little more scarred and grotesque, many wearing armor. Neff, would you like to describe the armor of what your men and what the camp would look like from your perspective?
Yeah. All kinds of fucking, I imagine just all kinds of tents, basically cheap setups. Because it's stuff that's easily picked up and moved. Most of the armor is just base leather, although styled more to be slightly layered. Parts can be taken off and stuff rather than being a full set of leather. Lycanthropes of all sizes, and they're wearing little emblems of two crossed swords.
As you look, kind of see this large group, many of them seeming to have like animal-like features that none seem to match another, seeming to walk about. You lot about a few, like I said, about 10 feet to the south of this. The camp hasn't seeming to notice you as you look about. To off to your right and just slightly about a mile's walk from where you're at roughly right now, you see a massive castle with beautifully carved walls of intricate art and design of a dragon seeming to seduce its way through the conquering lands. I won't go into full details right now from this distance, but as you look on the roving hills, you can also still hear, even on the slight wind, the sounds of clashing battle far to the distance. As you lot kind of find yourself in the middle of this field, what would you all like to do?
I would like to assess myself and my surroundings.
Okay, besides what I just gave you, you are still equipped with everything. You have not lost anything. No, and you seem to have every piece of you.
I'm getting battle ready.
All right. As you start like getting your daggers ready, your sling out and ready to be used. Yeah. What about the rest of you?
I'm good.
Tun just kind of stands there looking about. All right. Melvin, did you want to do anything, or did you just kind of wait to see what happens?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. As you kind of start to assess yourself, Gygax getting his weapons ready, Tun and Melvin kind of just watching. A few moments go by, and as one of the lycanthropes seems to kind of come walking down, a slightly rattier-looking fellow with a very long schnoz, very fluffy like fur that seems to kind of expand out, almost cat-like, bright green eyes. That seem to kind of, as they close, they seem to go to a blackened color. The creature seems to stand about 6 foot-ish tall as it looks over towards you and comes down carrying a good load of different weapons all across its belt. It comes down smiling and goes, "Are you lot the ones the brain fella sent?"
Yes.
Alright. Gregsmar Tom gave us an order to keep you lot safe. Told us that our leader would show you around. He's too good for you lot, so I'm here to be the one watching you lot for the time being. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think y'all need to be dealing with our leader. I'd introduce myself, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm gonna care about your names until you actually manage to survive one of these battlefields, as we were told you have no experience with war.
Unfortunately, this would be a first.
I've almost died 3 times already.
Perfect!
Tun thinking back to his birth, the great beach fields of a turtle birth.
He kind of looks at Melvin and goes, "Perfect! Melvin, you've already got this in mind. Don't ask why, I can already figure out your name. It's not a spell, I promise you. You must be Doots, a turtle must be Tun, and I didn't get told there'd be luggage."
Who you calling luggage?
That's...
Nothing personal, but your kind isn't much more than the ability... Wait, what? You can talk?
Yeah.
The hell? Your species is not supposed to be smart enough to talk. Did he trick you? Wait, is that what they starts pulling a small knife, getting himself like ready, looking at Gygax? Is he tricking you lot? Is he mimicking like some dead wife of yours?
No.
Tun.
He is our party member.
Kind of puts the knife, resheathes the knife and goes, he's a party member. You picked up
Yes.
a talking pet. You know, that's a new one. I'm not used to that. I guess apologies. What's your name? As he kind of holds his hand out.
Gygax.
Nice to meet you, Gygax. My apologies. I guess, yeah, you know, rushing to assume something wasn't the... My bad, as he kind of rubs the back of his head. He looks to the rest of the party and goes, you lot are here to work under us. I kind of feel bad about insulting you, so I guess I'll just take you to the boss before he gives me anything. Alright. Kind of turns and starts walking towards the camp. He goes, just don't touch anything, don't eat anything, and don't lick anything. Yes, that's a problem we have.
Tun.
That includes you, big fella. I can kind of understand you. My mother on her side was a turtle. Oh, I don't know if you were just passing gas or if you were trying to speak a different dialect, but I didn't catch that. Kind of, let me kind of points towards one of the larger tents that's slightly, still very simple in its design, but a little bit bigger. As he kind of opens up the or kind of points you towards it, walking up towards it, opening up the flap of the door. The small table with the battle map of what's going of the war that's going on between the two factions on Drafika, easily displayed out. A couple officers seeming to give an explanation. These dragonkin-like creatures giving an explanation to the leader, who seems to be currently just kind of covered full head to toe in in a cloak. As they seem to kind of be pointing out something, going over, the figure kind of waves them away. They stand up and kind of leave as he takes off his cloak, and I assume would start donning his armor. If you want to introduce your character and what he looks like.
Yes, but there would be one other person with Neff. His 4'3" right hand.
The other, is it still the,
It is. It's what we talked about.
Did you ever give him
So
a
if you want to
name?
introduce that one, because that's your little brainchild of a character.
Did you ever give him a name at all?
No, if you just want to random up a name for him.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Go for your thing.
Okay. So Neff is 9'5". He is size large. I have a rough image, but a lot of what's in the image isn't exactly what I had in mind. But the rough creature is. So as he starts donning his armor, he has a sword at each hip and a whip.
Okay.
He looks bigger than you'd probably. Well, no, I doubt any of you have ever seen a tiger, so never mind. But I do think he is the tallest as a dire tiger out of anyone in the camp. Most likely, I don't even think the bears are that tall.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that'd be the striking thing, just the incredible
Tonton
height.
has a strange craving for frosted flakes.
I knew someone would say it.
We were talking about this, like a Tony the Tiger.
As I will say, as you see this figure, you do see a about 2 foot tall, similar figure to the one that's been showing you around. Dire rat, looking similar, but slightly more scraggly, longer nose, bigger whiskers, and you see the simple written out on the leather armor, the words Ultimus, written in common.
Prime? Optimus Prime himself.
God damn it, with a U, not an O.
Neff will wave his hand and say front and center to introduce themselves.
The one direct that I'd been originally showing you in kind of like immediately stands to attention and goes, "I am not worthy. That is my name, and that is what I've done. I will punish myself now." And he turns and like exits as you see the smaller direct figure standing behind Neff, giggling.
Neff just sighs.
But as the rest of you are now left in this tent in front of this figure, waiting to, kind of looking on you to introduce yourselves.
Tonton.
My name is Doots. That is Tonton.
When Tonton says Tonton, you hear Tonathy Tonathy's full name. If you want to write it out.
Tonathy Tunberton.
Yeah. You hear the full name.
When Tonton speaks, Neff will say, "It's good to meet you, Tonathy."
I nod. One gentleman to another.
You're not able to translate anything else that he says.
No. The fun fact about lycanthropes, they speak the language of the animal they are, not anything else.
Yep.
So I speak tiger.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean,
Yep.
hey, theoretically, I can understand you speaking tiger, so...
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So I hear Doots and Tonathy. I look at
Doots.
I'm Gygax, not the luggage.
Why would you specify? I'm not gonna ask. Why would you?
The one that ran away said I was the luggage.
Well, most mimics don't speak, So I guess I can see why.
Ultimus kind of giggles, and as they kind of whisper up into Neff's ear, loud enough clearly for the rest of the party to hear on purpose, he goes, "Don't worry, later I'm gonna dunk his head in a couple of tubes of water and see how long he can hold his breath for it."
My God.
Training to the extreme! As the creature jumps back down off of Neff's shoulder.
As I'm sure you can tell, when it comes time for training, Ultimus will be taking care of all of you.
She smiles, a very wicked grin.
Mostly because I don't think my fighting style would fit any of you. Maybe young dudes, but not the rest.
Ultimus points towards Melvin and kind of like looks at you dudes waiting.
What sort of training?
That's my big brother, Melvin.
Okay.
Ultimus nods.
And training to not let you all die on a battlefield. Swordsmanship, awareness, that kind of thing.
Death, dismemberment, loss of eyes, limbs, toes.
Yes, that will all come with time.
I have a collection of toes if you want to see them. I've got
I don't
this
have any toes.
I stole this one from a dragon.
This is not the character I was expecting you to play as my right hand. I really love it.
Well,
But I'm so down.
I would like to say I'm appreciative of y'all taking the time, or taking time out to train us and prep us for this.
Well, of course. As I was trained by one of the Apex monsters, I will train all of you to survive.
And I'm going to dismember every piece of you and turn you into parts.
I morph into a troll head.
I like this one.
Well, he's become a part.
The dire kind of comes over to you, Gygax, and starts petting the hair of the troll's head, and goes, "We're going to be the best of friends."
Then I morph into the Murloc head.
Can you, if I give you other heads, can you turn into them for their shocked emotions?
Yes.
I have so many things I'm going to feed you.
Nom 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 nom.
She continues to pet you as you see the evil plots in her eyes.
I was told to go easy on you early, so I picked a relatively easier mission of monster hunting, if that's alright with all of you.
That is.
Ultimus kind of hearing this kind of goes over onto to Tuntun's back and looking into the hole, keeps kind of like sticking their head in and out, and goes, "Do you know your friend has a hole in their back?"
Yes, I recommend not going in there.
But it's fun. Look, I pulled out this pastry thing. There's a bunch of them laying around the hole.
Wait, are they reaching into the neck hole, or are they reaching into the...
No, into the back, into the fey hole.
Oh. Interesting.
I think there's a trap. There's some sort of weird trap thing here that they've got. Well. There's a turtle catching thing in here. I'm guessing that's for you, big fella, as you feel your head kind of being scratched, Tuntun, by the very sharp claws of this dire lycanthrope.
I'm content.
The creature kind of hands you a pastry, kind of like feeding it to you a little roughly, but like giving you the whole pastry, not touching it, as it looks back at the group.
You give Tuntun a pastry and you're friends for a pretty good period of time.
Ultimus looks up and goes, "Can I train them first?" You can see the like nervous smile on this dire's face.
What's your opening lesson gonna be? As Neff just looks, knowing not to just say yes to this person.
I thought we could start out with dragon dodging and artillery spell dodgings. I think the big one will be really good at dodging.
Just remember the agreement that we made with the leader. No permanent damage.
So I can take them to the battlefield.
Well, they're gonna hit the battlefield regardless with the rest of us.
There's a level 20 there. I want to see if they can take on.
I don't think we're battlefield.
But the small one can turn into a surprised face as he eats it. Like, come on, it's fun. He looks over, Dudes, and goes, "Come, dudes, sounds like you're the leader of this group. Come on, you gotta have the brass to do it. Yeah, think about the story you could tell. The small one gets to eat some big guy's head and gives that shock value. You get to kill someone who's that strong, the level of a leader of a country. Come on."
While I appreciate the excitement, I do not think we are ready for that, as the biggest thing we fought was a bunch of morph trolls.
Of course not. A day of training before we go do it. I got you. Don't worry. We'll go on hard training. It'll be fine.
Quite an interesting bunch you got here, Neff.
Ultimus kind of leaves out the tent, and you can hear them going and clattering with a bunch of metal as people are screaming and running away from their tent.
Yes, the ones I gathered are the ones that we're not interested in forcing people to turn into more lycanthropes. We're the more neutral lot, you can call us.
Done tons off for neutrality.
Yep, Neff himself is lawful neutral.
As Neff kind of lays out the plans for your guys' monster hunting quest, kind of giving you a general idea of where you're going to be going and explaining the fact that you'll be following a pathway and not just a single monster that will take you past an apex creature's territory. However, you are ensured that you will be safe as long as you do what Ultimus says. And also, if Ultimus does disappear, not to, worry. Also, dudes, I swear to God, go put a new battery in it. God damn it.
I'm upstairs because I have to watch my niece.
Oh, that's fair.
I was about to say the beep.
Yeah, I was like, you can't do the ghetto thing to me to ignore it, man. I can fucking hear it. It's bugging me. All right. But yeah, as he kind of starts to lay it out, Neff is going to end up sending you lot off to your own individual tent that has been set for you lot to share amongst the camp. For you to spend the day resting and kind of getting ready for what's to come the next day. And that is actually where we're going to end the session for right now. We thank you all for watching, and we hope you enjoyed. We'll see you hopefully by the sounds of it, 1 week. We should be good only missing one session. So we hope you all enjoy, and we will see you next time.